Have you noticed that your adult children don't call as much as they used to, or when they do, the conversations feel surface level and rushed? Maybe they've pulled back emotionally, sharing less about their lives or avoiding family gatherings. If you're experiencing this, you're not alone, and it's one of the most painful feelings a parent can face. But here's what most people won't tell you. There are real, understandable reasons why adult children become emotionally distant, and understanding these reasons is the first step toward potentially healing the relationship. In this video, we're going to explore the real reasons behind this emotional distance and what you can do about it. Stay with me until the end because this might be the clarity you've been searching for. Now, let's get started. Reason 1. They're overwhelmed by their own lives. The first and most common reason adult children become distant has nothing to do with you personally. They're simply overwhelmed by the demands of their own lives. Between careers, marriages, young children, and financial pressures, many adult children are stretched beyond their limits. When people are overwhelmed, relationships that feel less urgent, even with parents they love, often get pushed to the bottom of the priority list. Carol, a 68-year-old mother, felt hurt that her daughter Sarah only called once a month. But when they finally talked, Sarah broke down crying. She was working full-time, managing 2 kids' schedules, dealing with her husband's health issues, and felt like she was drowning. It wasn't that she didn't love her mother. She simply had no bandwidth left. Understanding this doesn't make the distance hurt less, but it helps you not take it personally. If your adult child is in this situation, make connection easier. Send brief, no response needed texts. Offer specific, practical help. And let them know you understand they're busy and you're there whenever they have time, without pressure. Reason 2. Unresolved conflict or past hurts. The second reason is harder to face but critically important. There may be unresolved conflict or past hurts that your adult child is still carrying. This could be a childhood wound, a parenting decision they disagreed with, or an ongoing pattern of behavior that bothers them. Sometimes parents genuinely don't know what the issue is because it was never openly discussed. Adult children sometimes pull back emotionally as a form of self-protection. If they felt hurt, dismissed, or criticized in the past, they may create distance to avoid repeating those painful experiences. Robert, a 71-year-old father, couldn't understand why his son Mark kept their relationship at arm's length. After years of wondering, Robert finally asked directly. Mark revealed that during his divorce 10 years earlier, Robert had made judgmental comments that made Mark feel unsupported. Robert didn't even remember saying those things, but to Mark, they were unforgettable. Once Robert genuinely apologized and they talked through it, their relationship began to heal. If you suspect this might be part of the issue, ask. Say something like, "I've noticed we're not as close, and I wonder if I've done something to hurt you. If I have, I'd really like to understand so I can apologize." Then listen without getting defensive. This takes courage but can open doors that have been closed for years. Reason 3. Different values or lifestyles. Another common reason for emotional distance is that your adult child has developed values or a lifestyle that differs significantly from yours, and they're creating space to avoid conflict or judgment. This could involve politics, religion, parenting choices, or life decisions you don't approve of. When adult children feel judged for their choices, they often respond by sharing less and visiting less. Many parents don't realize how their comments land. What feels like helpful advice to you might feel like criticism to your adult child. Even subtle disapproval, a sigh, a raised eyebrow, can create enough discomfort that distance feels easier. Margaret, a 66-year-old mother, wondered why her daughter Emma rarely brought her children to visit. Eventually, Emma admitted that Margaret's frequent comments about her parenting made Emma feel constantly judged. Margaret was shocked. She thought she was being helpful. But Emma heard criticism, and it made her want to avoid visits. If this resonates, the solution is to practice acceptance and restraint. Your adult children are adults, and they get to make their own choices. Unless there's genuine harm involved, respecting their autonomy is essential. Focus on connection rather than correction. You can disagree with their choices and still love them. But if you make every interaction about what they're doing wrong, they'll stop coming around. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Your support helps us keep creating good content. Now, let's continue. Reason 4. They're protecting their own mental health. Sometimes adult children create emotional distance because they need to protect their own mental health. This is particularly true if the parent-child relationship has been difficult or emotionally draining. If your adult child grew up in a home with dysfunction, they may need distance to maintain their own well-being. Adult children who set boundaries or limit contact are often doing what their therapists have told them to do to stay healthy. This doesn't mean they don't love you. It means they're prioritizing their own survival and healing. Thomas, a 70-year-old father, struggled with depression and anger issues throughout his children's lives. He got help later and genuinely changed, but his daughter Linda still kept strong boundaries. Thomas felt hurt, but Linda's therapist helped her understand that protecting her mental stability meant limiting time with her father. When Thomas finally accepted this without guilt-tripping Linda, their limited relationship actually improved because Linda felt respected. If this is your situation, the most loving thing you can do is respect their boundaries without making them feel guilty. Acknowledge that you understand they're doing what they need to do for their well-being. If you played a role in the need for those boundaries, own it and apologize. Then give them space and time. Reason 5. You're trying too hard or being too needy. This reason is hard to hear, but it's important. Sometimes adult children become distant because their parents are trying too hard, being too needy, or making the relationship feel like an obligation rather than a joy. This includes calling too frequently, guilting them about not visiting enough, making them feel responsible for your happiness, or creating drama that pulls them into emotional chaos. When parents make their adult children feel responsible for managing their emotions or solving their problems, it creates pressure and resentment. Adult children want relationships with their parents, but not if it feels like a burden they can't escape. Dorothy, a 69-year-old widow, called her son every single day, sometimes multiple times. She'd get upset if he didn't answer. Her son loved her but started dreading her calls and answered less frequently, which made Dorothy call even more. When a friend gently pointed out what was happening, Dorothy joined a senior center, made new friends, and started volunteering. She called her son less frequently, and ironically, he started calling her more because the interactions felt positive rather than draining. If you suspect this might be part of the issue, work on building a fuller life for yourself. Develop friendships, hobbies, and activities that bring you joy independent of your children. When you interact with them, focus on being genuinely interested in their lives rather than making every conversation about your needs. What you can do moving forward. Now that we've explored these 5 real reasons, let's talk about what you can actually do. First, reflect honestly on which of these reasons might apply to your situation. This takes courage and self-awareness, but it's essential. You might need to have difficult conversations, make apologies, or change your own behavior. Second, focus on what you can control, your own actions and responses. You can't force your adult children to be closer, but you can create conditions that make closeness easier. Be supportive without being intrusive, interested without being nosy, helpful without being controlling. Third, give them space and time. Pushing for more connection before they're ready will backfire. Let them know you love them and you're there when they're ready, then step back and live your own life fully. And finally, consider whether family therapy might help. Sometimes having a neutral third party can facilitate conversations that are too difficult to have alone. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, I want you to know that if you're experiencing emotional distance from your adult children, you're not alone, and there's hope. Understanding the real reasons behind the distance, whether it's their overwhelm, unresolved hurts, different values, mental health protection, or feeling pressured, is the first step toward change. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding. Most parents did the best they could. Most adult children love their parents but are navigating complex lives and trying to protect their well-being. The path forward requires honesty, humility, respect for boundaries, and a willingness to change patterns that aren't working. Your relationship with your adult children can improve, but it starts with you. Take responsibility for your part, respect their autonomy, work on your own emotional health, and create space for them to come to you without pressure. The goal isn't to return to the past but to build something healthier for the present. Thank you for joining us today. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts or experiences. Your perspective matters. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.